everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Creative Cast with me, Kevin Creative. And just to start things off, we'll just go over a recap of what I got going on. So I'm working on my Bionicle projects, and they're coming out pretty great. I'm almost done. I just finished the masking yesterday. This weekend I'm going to do the painting, finish it off. I just need to do the detailing, so there's a couple of pistons and gears and things that are molded into these designs. And I thought, why not? Let's bring out that detail. Since I'm going to give this whole thing a fresh paint job, might as well put out all the stops and freshen them up a bit. So it'll be cool because this is going to be like an original Kevin Creative piece. Like, has there ever been a painted Bionicle before? Probably, but not as good as me, I can tell you that right now. So this will be cool. I'm going to put out my feelers, put out the word, show it off, see if anybody just wants to take it off my hands, and then send it their way. And hopefully that'll be the case. It'll be a nice little Kevin Creative original for them to have. Nothing too fancy, just going to do some silver and gold for the piping, and then just some gunmetalish colors for like those little gear pieces that I see kind of hanging off. And that'll be that. It'll look cool. So on the original red Toatahu, he just has a big red flaming sword arm. So I'm just going to go ahead and give that some gradients and make that look like it's kind of actually on fire rather than it just being one big solid piece. So I think that'll be fun. Add some different shadings and different levels of the reds and the yellows and the orange. And I think that'll be a fun little add to the design. In terms of the upgraded version, the Toa Nuva one, he has two silver swords with flame designs on them. So what I did is I masked off the flame designs, and same thing. I'm going to go ahead and just give it some flair and make it look like they're alive. And I think that's going to look really cool against the silver blade of the design. So excited to do that this weekend. I'm just gonna knock it out. Hopefully should only take a day or two. Then I can film it all and make the videos. I'm probably just gonna do my best to film them, and I've already made the thumbnails, so we're moving along, trucking along, and then we can move on to the next project, which is going to be my real grade Sananju. I don't remember if I brought that up. I'm pretty sure I did, but the next one I'm working on is the real grade Sananju, and I just need to do the sanding for it, and we'll be ready to paint. So that'll be fun. I don't actually have any real plans to do any type of decals or anything. I'm still considering getting some decals for it. I might just use whatever I have just to add a few caution markings, but I do feel that this one is a bit of a busy design, so we may just end up leaving it. I don't know, but it'll be nice to transition onto that one once I'm done here with this one. And then I'm hoping I'll finish by the end of the year. I mean, that's still, what, September to January? Oof, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to finish the end of the year for this one. Real grades and master grades can take me a minute. Any model kit. That's the one drag for me, is that just doing all this takes so much time, so it takes me months and months and months. So unfortunately, I just can't put one out every month. It's just a shame. I wish I could. I see people do it all the time. I have no idea how they do it. I don't know how people manage to put out high quality work in such a short amount of time. To be fair, who knows what they have going on. I suspect that there's a lot of people out there that have a backlog of stuff done, or they just work on a couple of projects at a time, and then they kind of save stuff for later. Because it really seems like there's some people where it's just like they finish completely building and painting a kit, and then like immediately they have another one that's like halfway done or done. And I'm just like, how are you able to post this within like a couple of weeks of each other? I just don't get it. So I'm thinking that there's some trickery afoot, and they probably have some stuff backed up, and that's how they're going about it. They probably have their own unique schedule, because the numbers they're not adding up. I just don't get it. Like, it's one thing if you just put together a kit every month, but to have all this high level of painting and detailing and decals, I don't know. How are these people doing it? I need some wisdom here. But then as far as what I got going after that, it's probably going to be, I'm thinking, the real grade Evangelion. I kind of just want to get out of the way. So that's another one where it's not for me. That one I plan to be giving it away as a gift. So I just kind of want to knock it out. It'll be fun and all that, but I'm just not the biggest Evangelion person, you know? I haven't seen the show at all, but from what I've heard, I don't really want to. It seems like it's kind of just all over the place in terms of whether it's good or not, and then in terms of the actual story, from what I've heard, doesn't really seem interesting to me. There was like a scene where, I haven't seen this, but I was watching a video, and somebody made a joke, or they made an implication that he jerks off to a girl in a coma, and it's just like, you know what, maybe this ain't for me. I'm not crazy about the designs, I'm not hearing a lot of good stuff about it, it's very controversial, I don't know. I have a suspicion that I'm not gonna care for this series. So, but like I said, I do think there are merits to some of the designs. I like the colors. I will say that. I like all the color schemes for all of the EVA units. So that's a plus. I'm just not big into like the very organic aspect of them. And they're very slender, very organic. I like robots. I like them to be big, bulky, muscular, hefty. And that's completely opposite with Evangelion. So it'll be a fun little one-off. And then I can send him on his way. And, there we go. We could say I did it once and move on. That's kind of how I like to look at certain things when I'm doing builds and projects and stuff like that. Is sometimes it's not about what I want to do. Sometimes it's about what does this represent. And I think sometimes a kit can just represent a fun little chapter that I can just knock out and say, I did it once. We tried it out. I have an idea. There we go. Just a little piece of inspiration to move on with my life. I do have the Command Wolf still just chilling. It's just completely ready to go, sanded in pieces, separated, all that. It's going to be a custom paint job, the Irvine custom. There is an actual model kit of the Command Wolf in that color scheme with a little Irvine pilot, but don't feel like spending that kind of money because it is an exclusive thing, out of print, all that. It's crazy money. Screw it. I got the basic Command Wolf in its white version for, I think, like $50 or something a while back, a couple years ago. It's just a simple matter of swapping out the paint, so there you go. No big deal. Don't care about the pilots, so even if it's just a regular pilot guy just sitting in there in the cockpit, who cares? It's mostly about the Zoid itself, and that'll be cool. One day I'll get to it. I really don't know when I'm going to do it. I pushed that back so far. I was supposed to have that done this year, and then next year I was going to work on the Cannon Tortoise, the Cannon Turtle. I was planning on doing him as well. The Irvine Command Wolf was supposed to be the lead-in to the Cannon Tortoise because I wanted to use the Command Wolf as a means of learning how the Zoids work in terms of their build and all that, what's going to be required, what kind of masking I'm going to need to do, and what parts can be done in which ways, what parts are going to show, stuff like that. I just wanted to kind of use the Command Wolf as a way to figure out how the Zoids line works as a whole moving forward. And then after that, I was going to do a really cool custom of the, whatever he is, the turtle with a big old cannon on it, but like with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle type of theme to it. Not exactly, but it's going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles related, so it's going to have a color scheme like that, so that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, things just are again pushed back because there's just other projects that I feel like in terms of the channel are just more important. These, like I said, I'm sending these out as gifts just to kind of spread the word that I exist. Hey, I'm here. Check me out if you want to see what I got, if you like what I got going on. I think this is something that you would like, so I wanted to give it to you as a gift. Just whatever. Just an introduction, getting the word out that I exist. I need to start spreading the word. So let's see. To recap, we got the Bionicle stuff going on, and then we're going to do the Real Grade Sananju next. And then after that, I plan on doing the Real Grade Evangelion. And then after that, I think I'm going to do the car model. I have a car model that I'm going to be doing in a custom paint job for a Transformer. There's someone out there, again, that I want to send it out to. He is a big old Transformers guy. He has mentioned his favorite character many times. So let's take this another notch up. Let's do something different. Because the thing is, when you think Transformers, the first thing that I think of, at least, is the robots, right? But at the end of the day, they have a secondary mode that's also completely important and relevant. It's the whole point. They turn into two separate things. So I thought it'd be fun to, instead of focus on the robot, let's focus on the alt mode, the car. So I looked it up. I figured out which exactly what model car this Transformer turns into, this character turns into. And so I found a model kit of that car. So there you go. I'm going to paint it up like that specific character, send it his way. Here you go. I know you like this guy. Here's something a little different, something that's custom, and I think he'll enjoy it. At the very least, I think he'll get a kick out of having something unique, something that is hand painted by another person and it's not just mass produced. Now, I think people will appreciate that aspect of what I'm trying to do at the very least. It'll be something that they can hold on to. And you never know, maybe someday people will come to their house and say, what's that? And they'll say, some asshole sent me some crap and now I gotta hold on to it. Here you go. Here's what his account is. And there you go. Maybe that'll be a way to move up. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure something out. Another simple idea is obviously just taking your brand and your logo and just plastering it all over the city. I'm planning on doing that too with stickers. I've already got a design that I've made that has my QR code that I plan on making just a bunch of stickers to slap all over the city. It's got my logo and the code, and then there you go. Hopefully people will at the very least be curious as to what this weird design is, and then we'll go somewhere from there. Who knows? I don't know. Again, we're just brainstorming. The Deathsaur I'm actually really excited for a couple of reasons. A, I don't own a Takara Tomy model kit, I don't think. I don't think I have a single Takara Tomy. I have HMM Zoids model kits from Kotobukiya, but I don't have a Takara Tomy model kit. Part of the factors are what company is doing it. Do I have something from this company? If the answer is no, I'll probably buy it because I want to try it out. I want to see something different. It'll be a different experience. If I build the Kotobukiya version of this Zoid versus the Takara Tomy version, they're going to be completely different builds and engineerings. And I consider that when I'm purchasing because I want to have a diverse backlog. I don't want 50 of the same company, design, franchise, anything. I love just going through my backlog. This one's a human, this one's a robot, this one's a vehicle, this one's an animal. It's just fun. It's fun to go through them, look through the parts, come up with ideas. So that's part of it. And this will be my first and probably only Zoids by Takara Tomy. I was thinking about getting that Liger Zero with the Phoenix armor. I was going to make that my one. That's really all I need. I think I just need one. And then the Death Soar got announced. So I was like, the only thing more iconic than the Liger is the Death Soar. I think it's fair to say. So I've already got the Kotobukiya Liger Zero. That thing looks awesome as hell. So screw it. Let's get the Death Soar. I don't have anything of that. It's going to be big. It's going to be awesome. It looks cool. I've got a couple of different ideas of how I want to go about it just because when I look at the pictures of it, the red is a very neon red. And I think that's so cool. I'm just imagining doing that inner frame as a neon red, vibrant inner frame with the black outer shell armor on top of it. And that is just going to be such an awesome contrast. I don't know if I'm going to go that way. Am I going to do it as a neon, vibrant inner frame? Alternatively, I was thinking I could just go with a metallic red inner frame. And I think that would look awesome as well, doing just an entire red metallic inner frame with a flat black outer armor on top of it with some silver accents for the claws and the teeth and stuff. It's going to look cool. It's going to look so awesome. There's so much details that I really want to bring out, pipings and cables and pistons and all that stuff, gears and stuff. I cannot wait to get my hands on and do it. That one I might do sooner than later. I really don't know. The Gojulus by Kotobukiya, no clue when I'm going to do that. The Perfect Grade, Perfect Strike by Bandai, no clue. But the Kotobukiya Death Soar, I don't know, man. That's a big one that I'm very interested in. I might do that sooner than later. We'll just have to wait and see. It's funny. One thing I did notice about my Zoids backlog is I have a lot of black and red designs. So like, for example, I've got the Lightning Sykes. That's like a dark gunmetal / like blackish and red design right there. And then there's the Great Saber, which is again another one with like a red inner frame, black outer armor. And then we've got the Death Soar, black and red once again. I feel like I had another one. Oh, and then the Irvine, the Command Wolf. That's another one that's like, it's got an inner frame that's more like a gunmetal, but the outer armor is black and red. So it's just like a lot of black and red for these guys. I just don't want to do all of them in that same color scheme. So I've already decided for the Great Saber, screw it. I'm going to skip the black and red color scheme on this one. Originally, I was going to do it as a just standard out of the box color scheme. Considering that I've already got the Lightning Sykes, and that one I do want to do in its original colors. On the Great Saber, I'm going to just do it as the green Voltron Lion. I had already planned on doing it as the green lion from the start, but my original plan was I'll do it as the standard colors first, and then I'll buy a second one to do as the green lion. Just so I can, play with both. Do I really need another Great Saber in my life and all that? Screw it. We're just going to do this one as the Green Lion and be happy with it. And do we need another one? No. Like I said, I've got so many that it's cool. And I'm still getting more. I can't stop. I can't freaking stop. I keep telling myself, but they just keep putting out cool, unique stuff. I don't know what to tell you. Like on the one hand, there's like nothing that I want. There's nothing. Like, they keep putting out stuff that I do not want. Every company. And it feels good. Feels good not to want anything. Feels good to hang out by the sideline and just watch as everybody else gets hyped for stuff that I just don't have interest in. Cool. At the same time, there just happens to be like one thing. And that's all it takes. They just happen to put out one thing I think is really cool and unique, and it does fit the parameters of what I'm looking for, which is diversity, uniqueness, just different. And they're doing a good job. The various companies, they're all doing a good job of just having at least one combined. And I'm talking combined. I'm not saying Bandai has one, Kotobukiya has one, Hasegawa has one. I'm saying out of all of them, they all somehow manage to have one every so often. So for example, we just had this hobby show with Bandai last week, and they announced a few new things. And I more or less didn't care for almost any of it. Don't get me wrong, the Psycho Gundam Mark II looks awesome, and I am excited for that. But that had been announced already. That wasn't a new announcement. That's something that's it's, been on everybody's mind for a while now, and we just got an updated look at it. So yeah, I'm excited, and yeah, one day I would like to get it. Maybe not anytime soon, but someday would be cool. That one was already on the docket, so I'm not really counting that. However, the big reveal that everybody's buzzing about, including myself, the Master Grade Vidar. I mean, good lord, who saw that coming? I really did not expect a Master Grade ever again, honestly. I'm going to say it. I really thought that they were just like, okay, Master Grade has done its thing. We're moving on to High Grade. They're smaller, they're cheaper, we can pump out more of them, more people will buy them, more people can afford them. So why bother with this other line that, we could make money on for sure. 100%, we can make money on this, but why sell 10 of one thing when we could sell 50 of another thing? But no, they're putting out the Vidar. They just announced it. It's looking amazing. They're not cheaping out. I mean, I guess technically they are because they're reusing the Gundam frame from the Barbatos, but that's to be expected. That's what you want. That is part of the lore, so that makes sense. We're not cheaping out and reusing these parts. We're following the story of the design. The whole point of this series is all the Gundams, all the main cool designs, they share the same skeletal structure. That's what makes them unique, is their skeletal structure, and then they have cool individual armor on top of it. So the fact that, they're doing that again with this model kit, no surprise, no problem. And it's what I wanted. It's what I think everybody wanted. It was the easy go-to. That being said, I'm not the biggest fan of Iron-Blooded Orphans in terms of the designs. I think they're probably some of my least favorite Gundam designs. I really didn't care for them until I actually saw the show. The show made it work. I really will say that the characters and the story and all that really makes a difference in whether or not something works or not. Because when you just have it on paper, like I said, I didn't really care for it. But when I saw it in action and I saw how it worked with the characters in terms of their personalities and their fighting styles and stuff like that, I really appreciated the more kind of animalistic vibe, the more feral vibe of some of these Gundams. So I really like that. It really felt like these characters were just working with what they had. They just had scraps laying around, so they put it together and this is what we got. And I feel that it works. So with the Vidar, again, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of this aesthetic. There's a handful of them that I actually like, and the Vidar happens to be one of them. That's one of the designs from this series that I do actually really like. So screw it. I pre-ordered it. I've currently got it pre-ordered. Could change, could cancel it, but I'm feeling strong about this one. I'm really feeling strong. It's a Master Grade. We don't see a lot of them these days. It looks really good. They even improved upon it. Like I said, the whole point of this design is to copy the exact frame for all of them, but even still, Bandai still went out of their way to upgrade the shoulder joints. They specifically showed that off. So I think that's cool. I think it's cool that they could have cheaped out and left it as it is because that's what we expected and wanted, but they still went ahead and upgraded it because they saw that they could and they wanted to. So I can appreciate that. I'm a big fan of when these companies look at their product as a source of pride. It's not about the money. Forget the money. We're here to make a good product. If you make a good product, the money will come. That's how it works. So I'm glad to see that type of mentality because sometimes, I get a little worried. I see some of these products and it's like, you read between the lines and you could tell that, they were focusing on that dollar rather than that design. So I'm glad to see with this one, it really doesn't feel like they're just doing a cash grab. It doesn't feel like they're just like, okay, people want a Master Grade, let's just throw something out to satisfy them. They really put the work in. Like I said, this looks really good. What's crazy is it seems like there's an effect that the Master Grade has on the model kit. And what I mean by that is they have the full mechanics of this design. It's the same scale. It's 1/100. It's still a decently sized Gundam model kit. But this Master Grade version is clearly better. You look at them side by side and it's clear as day that the Master Grade just has so much more work put into it, so much more detailing, and it's just the full mechanics just does not hold a candle to it. It's just nowhere near it. If they put in the work and if they call the Master Grade, it's a whole nother level and it makes it so much worth getting. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it or not just because I was like, do I need it? It's an Iron-Blooded Orphan kit. I'm not the biggest fan of Iron-Blooded Orphan, but I am a big fan of this design. So, and then you know what? I just kept looking at it. I just could not stop going to it. I couldn't stop, pulling it up on my computer and just taking a look and analyzing it and seeing how it works and all that. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's support the line. Let's show that I do want it. For now, we got it pre-ordered. Things could change. I might just wait and hold off until there's a day where I'm bored and I'm in the mood to buy something. I need some supplies and we'll throw that in. Who knows? It's exciting to see another Master Grade on the horizon. It's exciting to think that this could be the resurgence. This could be a renaissance of the Master Grade. Who knows? We did a few years without it. All right. They took their time to, work on on other projects, now we can maybe focus back on this. Especially since the high grade line, as I think I mentioned in the last video, it seems like they're kind of filling things out. What else is there? If you're interested in high grade, what is it that doesn't exist that you want? Because, like I said, they've got pretty much everything I could think of for the most part. I'm sure there's a lot more obscure stuff that they could do, but in terms of just like the main bulk of the series, we got a lot of Universal Century stuff out there to choose from. Even now with G Gundam, they've got the P-Bandai stuff that's been coming along. There's obviously tons more they can do, but in terms of what will actually sell, we're kind of getting to the end of that. In terms of the main cast, there's plenty, like I said, there's plenty to do, but the main cast they got. Same thing with the Wing Gundam. We got the main cast. I could swear they've done every single Seed kit out there. Like, I don't know what else there is in terms of the high grade line for Seed. These new Seed kits that they're doing, it seems like it's because there's a new Seed movie and they're just trying to bring it back to life and all that, and they're just making new designs. In terms of the previous show and all that, is there anything else? I really don't know. What else could they do for the HD? And then they've got, like, what is it, the Death Gundam? That big one that just came out. What else is there? So I don't know. Same thing with the high grade line. I just feel like, what else could they do? What are the lines? I'm just trying to think of like what other series we could go through. Well, I mean, I guess you could say Stardust Memory with the GPO 1 and 2 and 3. I think they've done high grades of those, but they're a bit outdated. Like, I have the Build Divers version of the GPO 2, the Giant Ogre GP Raise one. It's cool. Like, I think that version is cool because of the upgrades they made to it, but in terms of the base, it's a bit outdated. The GPO2 could use an upgrade. Kind of wish I got my hands on that Solomon. I decided to pass. I said, you know what? I don't need this, as cool as it is. So I passed. I held back. I decided I'm going to save that money and put it towards the Death Soar. So definitely wouldn't mind an upgraded version of that, especially now that the Master Grade is coming back. Maybe. Who knows? I doubt it. In terms of the high grade line, I don't know. I feel like if there's something I want, it's kind of there. I just don't feel like there's much else that they could really put out. They could do upgrades. I don't have a problem with upgrades. Like, for example, they have that Sea Destiny, I think, like the dog one. It looks it's a 4-legged dog-looking mobile suit. Super cool looking. Love the design. Tempted to get my hands on it, but because I do have a Zoids backlog, I'm just like, you know what? Let's just focus on that in terms of the animals. But if Bandai made a master grade of those designs, I would 100% jump on it. I'd have to know what that would be like. Like, I would absolutely love to compare a master grade Bandai animal mobile suit with that, 4-legged design versus a Kotobukiya Zoid Liger design. I would love to have those next to each other and just see how they would shape up. And even do custom paint jobs. I would love to do, like, take that Seed, I think it's like a Bau or something. I don't remember what it's called. The dog thing. Take that design and paint it up like a Liger or something. I don't know. That'd be cool at the master grade level. I just don't feel the need at a high grade level to have that. That's the problem. They did reissue the 3-headed, like, Kerberos one, and that one looks cool. I had to hold myself back from ordering that one. That one looks so sick. It was like a 3-headed black robot dog with pink beam sabers just coming out of it. It just looks so cool. But I passed. Yeah, I went ahead and said no. Got way too many as it is. Like I said, I just can't stop. I got that Master Grade Vidar coming out. We got the Mega Man model kits coming out. They're doing strong. So lots going on. There's a lot going on in terms of the model kit world. It's not like a lot, but it's like just enough where it's a lot for me. Because, if you think about it, I build and paint probably 4 to 5 model kits a year, I'll say. That's about as much as I have time to bust out. Because of the way things are working, I buy about 4 to 5 a year also. So it's just like, I'm trying to deplete my backlog, but they just keep making stuff that I've been waiting for. And it's just, they finally are doing it, but I already have everything else. It's a struggle. Like the Dragon Gundam. They just put out the Dragon Gundam for pre-order about a week ago, I think. And so, of course, I ordered that. I got 2 of them. I had to. Oh, my goodness. I was going to get 1, but then, like, they put out everything. When you see the list of parts and everything and the display options, I was like, okay, I need 2. I need options. I don't want to futz around and mess with this kit too much, so I need options. I want options in the way I paint them, and I want options in the way I display them. Like, he comes with everything you need to do anything he can do in the show. He's got all the flag parts, he's got the dragon arms, he's got the effect parts for the wings, he's got the effect parts for that circular Ouroboros dragon eating itself blast fast move. Like, it does it. Whatever he does in the show, he does on the model kit, and I want to show that off. There's a couple of opportunities on this kit to have the paint job be slightly different from the original design, and I want to take advantage. So screw it. It's P Bandai. You never know if you'll see it again or not. I'm sure we will. I have no doubt there'll be another set of this guy coming out, but screw it. I bought 2 now. Let's just get it out of the way. And oh my goodness, I should have just bought 2 Rose Gundams. I should have, because now I've got 2 Maxters because they've got 2 modes and I want to display both. I've got 2 God Gundams because I got the high grade and the real grade, and now I've got 2 Dragon Gundams because I want to just have all the different display options and painting options. So might as well have gone 2 Rose Gundams and just had 2 displays. You know what I'm saying? But oh well. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure the Rose Gundam will pop up again. And even if he doesn't, I don't need another one. I mean, I can make it work with the one I got. It's fine. The real question is, what's going on with the Bolt Gundam? Because that's going to be the last G Gundam character design that we need to finish out the main crew. And then that's it. And we're going to have the full main cast. God Gundam, Rose Gundam, Maxter, Dragon Gundam, and the Bolt Gundam. We'll have the full Shuffle Alliance. So that's going to be really cool. And I'm very excited for that. I cannot wait to get my grubby little hands on that full set. I'm so excited. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, the Bolt Gundam. So we finally have that, and then that'll be the set. And I'll be a very happy boy having the full set of the Shuffle Alliance. That's been one of my dream displays for model kits for many years. Never knew if it would actually happen. Same thing with the Wing Gundam stuff. I've talked about both of them so many times, but I just love both of those series so much in terms of their aesthetics and all that. I cannot wait to have them all out. I'm excited for the future of Gundam because, like I said, the Master Grade Vidar, that caught me off guard. It looks so great. It makes so much sense because, again, they have the frame ready to go, but at the same time, just because who knows how Master Grade was going to go these days, I had zero expectations. So seeing it be the Vidar, I'm very happy. Because again, this was a line that, like, who knows if it was coming back or not. And then in terms of like marketing and all that, picking the Vidar as the choice to go with. All right, so we're going to do another Master Grade, right? Imagine being at the meeting. Imagine being at that board meeting. We're doing another Master Grade. We're going to put it out. It's been a few years. People have been going crazy for it. They want it. And if we don't give it to them, shit could go crazy. So we better just appease them with something, right? What are we going to do? What are we going to pick? It's been years. People are going to be so excited to see this Master Grade. Like I said, they've been asking for it. So whatever we put out, it's got to hit. And so the fact that they went with the Vidar, which is sort of an obscure design, not obscure, but like, I don't know, was he there for like 2 episodes? He didn't do anything. He had like, I think 1 fight, and then that was it. And then after that, this design didn't really do much for the show. It didn't really impact the story. It didn't really do anything at all. It's just cool. It's just a very cool looking design with a very cool looking pilot. And that's about it. So the fact that they decided that this was the one that they're going to put out of all the other Iron-Blooded Orphan designs, because I really would have thought it would have been just another Barbatos, just the Lupus or the Lupus Rex. If Bandai said, good news, we're putting out another Master Grade, it's going to be from Iron-Blooded Orphans, I would have been like, Barbatos. What else are they going to do? Who else are they going to pick? Are you really going to tell me that the Gushan or the Gushan Ribake or the new city, full city, whatever they call it, are you going to tell me that that one is going to fill the hype of being the brand new Master Grade after what, like 4 years? I think it's been. Like, when was the last time? People say that we got the Dom. I don't count the Dom. We've had the Dom. That's just barely an upgrade. That's not a new Master Grade. The last real new Master Grade I think we got, we're talking like a full release, not just like a Verka or like a premium Bandai or anything. I'm talking just a standard release, which I believe was the Mark V. I could be wrong, but I think the Mark V was a standard release, was it not? I think that was. It was either the Mark V or it might have been the Barbatos. I could be wrong. I haven't looked this up, but I believe those two were some of the last ones to come out. And those were 2019, 2020. It's been a while, so this was the big one. If they said it was going to be Iron-Blooded Orphans, I would have thought Barbatos, because there's not a lot of options that are really prominent in this series. And so the fact that they went with the Vidar, very cool. Very happy. Unexpected. Big surprise. Works for me. It's a very cool design. One of the few that I actually like from that series, and I'm happy to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to support it, and it's going to be a good time. Oh my goodness gracious. I have just been talking about model kits this entire time. I feel like that's what I always talk about, but I don't know, just what I like. Let's just change it up a bit. Let's talk about Bleach. Let's talk about that manga Bleach. I finally got the 3rd and final box set of the manga. So I'm excitedly reading through the books, and I gotta say, it's a tad disappointing. Not crazy about the direction that they're going. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a very weird setup we got going on, because like on the one hand, we got Bleach the series. I think about it in terms of the beginning, chapter 1, and the final battle with Aizen, the main villain. It's like volume like 47 or 48. So it's like 400 chapters in. It's, I think, almost 500. I could be wrong. 400, 500 chapters, right? That's a long time. Like 48, 49 volumes worth of stuff going on. So that's what Bleach was. And then everything after that was like just more. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what the plan was. I don't really keep up with the artists or the authors or their interviews or anything like that. I just go based on what I'm seeing. And so to me, it just feels like Bleach was volumes 1 through like 49. The Aizen situation, that's what Bleach was. And then after they wrapped that up and we finished the story, it was a really popular story. It still is. And so we kept going. I don't know if that's the case, but that's how it feels. This is what I think the problem is. And I haven't finished it. I'm about halfway done with the books. I'm about halfway done with this third saga. It feels like we're trying to tell a similar story. So we have this bad guy who is out for power. He's literally doing exactly what Aizen wanted. He's doing what the same villain wanted. He's going to the head guy. He's going to basically God, and he's going to kill God and take his spot. That's what Aizen wanted to do. That's what this new villain is doing. Problem is, there's like half the books in which we're doing it. So we're doing the same process, but in half the time. And I just don't feel like it's working, personally. Personally, I just don't think it's working. It's not bad. This is Bleach. The author, artist, Tite, I think his name is Tite Kubo. Wonderful. Does a great job. Love his work. Big fan. I mean, I wouldn't have every single 74 volumes. I wouldn't own it and buy it and spend all this time on it if I didn't like it. So let's just get that out of the way. I'm not trying to hate or anything, but I don't know, man. I feel like he's trying to do the same work, but in half the time. And personally, it's not working for me. I don't think it's bad by any means. Like I said, it just feels like things are just quickly rushing and happening. For example, Kenpachi Zaraki, right? Captain Kenpachi Zaraki of the 11th Division. He's supposed to be like the toughest guy there is, period. You want to fight with him? Well, just know that you'll probably just be a stump in a barrel, and that's going to be all that's left of you if you're lucky. Like, this is the guy. You have a problem, this guy solves it. He goes up against his enemy, is a guy who his power is imagination. Whatever he can imagine, that happens. That is real. That is reality. That seems pretty overpowered. And he's going up against Kenpachi Zaraki, the toughest guy there is. Nobody can beat him. He's the strongest guy ever. He's so powerful that his own bosses don't want him to be at full potential for their own safety. So it makes sense to have him paired up with this guy who, like I said, whatever he imagines, that's happening. That's reality. If he says you can't hit him, you can't hit him. So that's a good pairing, right? The problem was, I think the fight was just way too short. Way too short. I wish this fight was like 2 to 3 full books on its own, just this fight. So basically, let me just break down the fight so you get what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to paint a picture that the guy with the imagination powers, he should have ultimate power, right? Ultimate anything, whatever you can think of, ultimate. But all he really does is, the first thing he does is he creates a platform for them to fight on. He's like, oh, you're the toughest guy I heard, so we should have an appropriate battlefield. So he creates this giant, flat platform to fight on. Red flag already. You got all the imagination in the world, and you just created a giant flat rock. Like, that's it? That's what we got? Okay. All right. Cool. And then, he's fighting Kenpachi. Kenpachi tries to slash him. He heals immediately. He's like, I just, I thought I was healed, so I'm healed. So that's cool. It's cool that it's showing off. He's like, you tried to slash me, but I just imagined myself harder than what you could slash, so you couldn't. Cool stuff. He's showing off what he can do. Very cool. And then, there's a panel where he just summons 50 million guns behind him that are all just firing off at Kenpachi, and these missiles just get summoned out of the air to find. It's cool concepts that are building up, but it's not enough. You've got all the imagination in the world, and so far all you've done is summon a bunch of guns, summon a bunch of missiles, and summon a giant rock. I don't know. I think there could be more done with that. So his 2 big final moves that he does is he summons a giant meteor. This meteor is bigger than the entire city world, and this would be an extinction level event. So he summons this to wipe out him and everything else. He's like, fuck you, I'm gonna win. Try taking on this giant meteor. And that's cool. That's cool. I'm cool with that. But again, this is they should have saved this for way down the line. We should have had way more cooler things happen first before we just get straight to big meteor. Because at the end of the day, this big meteor is a rock. It's a big old rock. It's not very hard to dream up a giant rock falling out of the sky, you know? I'm just saying, it was a bit lackluster. Could have been longer, you know? That's the next big move that he had was space, right? He's like, all right, fine. He was able to slash up the meteor. He's like, I can cut through anything. You think that's going to stop me? I can cut through anything. All right, well, then let's put you somewhere where you can't cut anything. I'm going to just put you in space and let's see you deal with that. Again, very clever, makes sense. And then, you know, he manages his way out of that. Very cool, but it's just like sort of simple concepts. I don't know. I'm going to put you in space and you can't breathe and blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is pretty basic. I'm going to make a giant rock fall out of the sky. All right. I'm going to summon a bunch of guns. I don't know, man. I just, for a guy that has everything at his fingertips, he could do literally anything, and we're just, you know. There was a Green Lantern comic, or a Batman comic, I remember, that I read years ago, where Batman is fighting with Green Lantern. It's an alternate universe type thing, and Green Lantern and Batman are just dickheads to each other. Batman was just complaining to Green Lantern after he beats him. He's like, you have all the, like, power of your imagination at your fingertips. You have the power of all of the universe at your hands, and you just make flashlights and boxing gloves. Like, of course you lost. Something like that. He said something like that. And that's just kind of how I felt. It's like, you have all this power, but you're not doing anything with it. You're just doing the very most basic things. Like, it would have been cool if, like, I don't know, he's like, I imagine myself as, like, the greatest swordsman ever. And he just had, like, a really badass, cool looking sword. Maybe even two of them, two-handing it. And, like, they're just going at it because he's like, well, whatever you can do, I can do better because I imagine myself better. I'm better than you because, you know, whatever I say goes. I don't know. Like, he was able to summon multiple copies of himself, right? Which this is another thing that just didn't make sense to me. He makes a second version of himself and he's like, all right, so you can duplicate yourself. I'll fucking cut him up too. And he's like, well, first of all, you can't cut him because he can't cut me. Second of all, now my imagination has just doubled. What does that mean? Your imagination doubled. Why did you need a second person to do that? This is the best way that I could understand this. You have an author who writes the book, and then you have an editor who tweaks the book. Obviously, the author could write about whatever they want to write about. They have the full power of their imagination to them, so they write whatever. But, you know, you still got to have that editor come in and review stuff just because it's good to have a second pair of eyes on things, and, you know, you can enhance stuff. You get a new worldview. That makes sense. The problem where this doesn't make sense is, like, we're using two guys to create the one same thing at the same time. So I don't know. I just don't understand how having two people, you just doubled your imagination. So now you can summon a giant meteor. I don't know. You needed to double your imagination to create a giant rock. This whole saga has just been pretty lackluster to me. There's just a lot of, I don't want to say holes. There's not holes. It's just choices being made are just not for me. I'm just not happy about how Kubo has decided to write out these final villains and all that. Because that's another factor is like these villains just have nothing going on for them. I don't care about them at all. They just show up. They literally show up out of the shadows. Apparently they've been living in the shadows for 1,000 years, just biding their time, building their strength. That's all well and good. Here's the thing though. What is their motivation? What are they doing? Why are we having these issues? Why do they hate the Soul Reapers? Why are they fighting against them? Why are they, you know, here's another issue. They show up as like the typical anime characters where they're just super quirky and super obnoxious. We're gonna freaking kill you, LOL. Like, you don't stand a chance. Let the slaughter begin. You know, it's just very, very anime, campy type stuff, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. The problem is, like, why are they acting this way when they don't have anything else? Like, they have all this personality where they're acting all quirky, and why? Why do they want to do this? Like, what does it do for them? What are they gaining? They're not gaining anything. They're just doing this because they're part of this organization, I guess. And it's okay, why are you part of this organization? Why are you, what are you gaining? There's no motivation. The only thing that I can glean of so far, everybody is afraid of the main bad guy, right? He's supposed to be like God level powered, and he will kill his own subordinates on a whim if he feels the need to. He does not care. He cares for nobody and nothing but himself. I can understand his subordinates being like, well, I don't want this guy to kill me, so I'm gonna make sure to do my job. That I'm on board with. But the problem is, it's just like, why are you following him to begin with? When he gets to complete his ultimate goal of being God, where does that leave you? You see, I just don't get it. There's just no rhyme or reason. They're just acting a certain way out of, I want to say, fear of this guy. They're afraid he's going to kill him. So they have no choice but to work with him. But at the same time, they're not really acting like they're afraid of him. They're acting like they worship him and they want him to win. And him winning means they win. which is cool, I guess. Maybe that's just what it is that I just don't understand that concept of doing something for somebody else. Maybe I'm just a selfish person. Maybe that's just all it is. I just don't understand doing things for other people, and therefore the fact that they're doing this for him doesn't resonate for me. I'm not going to say I don't understand doing things for other people, but I'm saying, like, I don't know, do they like him? I guess they like him. I don't know. He clearly doesn't seem like he gives a shit about them. Why should he care about, that's what I'm saying. It's not like the Soul Reapers are sacrificing themselves for Yamamoto. They respected him. They were loyal to him. Like, he was a good leader, and they wanted to do right by him, and when he was killed, they were pissed. That's not the same with the bad guys. Their leader doesn't care about them, or anything, or anyone. And they still follow him because they're afraid. They definitely don't act like they're afraid. They're still just being cocky, annoying anime guys. So, I don't know. I don't know why they're so powerful. That's another thing. They just seem to be wiping the floor with everybody. We've seen everybody else prove how powerful they are and show it off in spades and all that. And then these guys just show up and, like, without even trying, completely obliterate everybody. Their powers don't really seem all that special, but they just seem to keep winning. So, okay. I don't know. Like I said, this one's just not for me. I'm enjoying it for what it is, and because, again, the author and artist is a good writer and is a good artist. It's weird. I don't know. I've heard lots of good things about it. I think that's part of it also is like I got really excited for it. At first I didn't like it because of I saw what it was and I just didn't care for the designs of the Kinseys. That's another thing. The Kinseys, I was really let down. I thought they were going to be like rangers, like archers and stuff like that, like a Robin Hood, Green Arrow type vibe. And instead they're like Nazis. That's where I'm at with that. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it here. We're going over a little bit an hour. I've been talking a lot about some model kit stuff. Talked a little bit about Bleach. We got some of that in there. Having a good time with that. Yeah. Haven't really been watching anything. Still not watching stuff. Trying to hold off from doing any type of TV shows or movies as long as possible just because they're distracting, and I don't need to be distracted. I want to get into them one day. I want to get back, but I got business, and business comes first. So also part of it is just nothing good out. Like, I don't know. I've been seeing trailers. I've been seeing clips. I've been seeing snips and boring. There's just a lot of boring these days, and I don't pay for boring. So I don't know. For now, I'm just doing my thing, and hopefully it'll grow into something else, and we can go from there. But anyways, guys, I've been rambling. I'm rambling on, and we're gonna go and call it here. And until next time, thanks again for tuning in.